this feud, these types of wars, this has always been going on behind the scenes. This one here just happens to play out publicly. People are choosing sides. I want to play you a couple of clips before we bring Steve Kim into the conversation. I want to play you a couple of clips, and I'm going to start with this one. Mike Wilbon, who's not really a wartime, he's not a fighter. Wilbon, has a successful show. He and Tony Kornheiser were part of the interruption. Wilbon normally stays out of these public scraps. He'll take little shots maybe from time to time, but normally stays out. But yesterday, he found a way to take a shot at Pat McAfee, and it's not by accident. It's someone frustrated that it's become crystal clear that the YouTuber, that the Dave Portnoy light, that's what Pat McAfee is. He's Dave Portnoy light, has won the war at ESPN. And Wilbon's a tiny bit frustrated and takes a shot at Pat McAfee. Listen for yourself.
An article in Bloomberg says some PGA players want any returning LIV players to hand back money they've made from LIV, or give money to charity, or pay a fine, or give back prize money they might win from future tour events. Wilbon, is this a reasonable request?
I can't use the words that I would use to the face of any one of those colleagues if they suggested that. I guess if I wore a black tank top and I could get away with those words on this show, I would use them. I would use them to their faces. Okay, so we can't even get there.
But you can write them down and we can hold them up.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I don't even think I can write them down and hold them up. There would be a suspension coming, and I'm not ready for that.
The black tank top, that's a shot at Pat McAfee. And if I did what Pat McAfee did, I would be suspended. Pat McAfee plays by another set of rules. He gets free will. Basically he's saying, Pat McAfee won. No Adrian. You see why I use the no Adrian? No, I think it works, but you hop in the chat and tell me if I'm right or wrong about no Adrian versus yo Adrian. If you super chat me like Anton Daniels did, we'll read it on air. Anton, the host of the Millionaire Morning Show, toss it. I need a bottle of water. I'm dying here. I just got off my Stairmaster before coming on the show. I want to play another clip. This is, let's play Stephen A. Smith first. This is Stephen A. Smith giving Adrian Wojnarowski his flowers as he departs. This is a monumental moment in sports journalism. I'm telling you guys, ESPN has been overtaken by a YouTuber. That's not me complaining. That's not me trying to disparage Pat McAfee. It's just educating you on the real significance of Adrian Wojnarowski's departure and why he would say, you know what, I'm leaving $20 million of contract on the table to walk away from here because his future is not at ESPN. It's completely abandoned journalism. It's all about personalities. Anyway, let's play the Stephen A. Smith clip.
I've gotten to know Woj over the last couple of years working on NBA Countdown. He's the best in the business. He's the best in the business. Make no mistake about it. Nobody's more well-connected. Nobody's more respected. And to be around him and to just to be able to touch on a wealth of knowledge that he's had in all of his years covering the league, the context that he has, the inside information that he's had, he's led this place for quite a long time. As you well know, there are many, many occasions where we won't even go on the air and report something unless we hear from Woj first. He's meant that much to this place. He's a part of this institution, somebody that, just speaking on behalf of the whole NBA Countdown team and all of us who have worked with him over the last few years, he's the best in the business. He's absolutely exceptional, a high-end professional. He has my profound respect. And I just hope that this is a very, very happy move, and I anticipate that it is because we certainly didn't ask him to leave. I can assure you of that.
So Stephen A. is putting on an act, pretend, me and Adrian, we're so close, and this, that, and the third. He's really upset, like, oh man, Pat McAfee has more power than I thought and has more power than I have, and man, I wonder if that's going to affect how much money they pay me. That's what's actually going on in Stephen A. Smith's head and mind. Final, I want to play you Pat McAfee talking about Shams yesterday and basically taking his victory lap, because Pat McAfee was on Team Shams and has been having, who does not work for ESPN, has been having Shams on his ESPN platform instead of Adrian for a year or two. But here's Pat McAfee taking a victory lap about his defeat. No, Adrian! Play the clip.
We do know another person who is incredibly handsome, good on TV, plugged, currently a free agent, I believe.
What?
Has there been texts and calls of like the universe literally just pieced this thing together, seemingly? You know, Shams Charania.
Okay.
Shami.
Okay.
Shams Charania is the answer.
That's
Who's
right.
the guy?
I know there's conversations happening. And people are going to say that this is obviously who we're going to say. But if you take our bias out of this conversation, there's only one answer. It's Shams Charania.
Simple.
Yeah.
Legit. Now, bias in, great on our show, literally can handle anything, seemingly plugged in everywhere.
Good jumper.
Plugged in, can shoot a basketball. Always handsome.
Yes.
Great,
Okay.
fits. Great fits.
Always suited and booted.
Loves lunch.
Loves lunch. He eats his oatmeal with a fork.
Correct.
She's one
So
of
he's a
the-
little bit unique. You know what you're going to need.
Has alarms to remind himself to drink water.
Bingo. Gets dehydrated.
Yep.
No longer because and that's the type of attention to detail that Shams Charania has towards his entire life, but also the basketball coverage.
He's arguing that Adrian Wojnarowski, shot fighter. Shot fighter is what he's arguing. And I was right. We chose Team Shams. Now ESPN should go get him. And this is why this whole conversation about, is it money you want or is it power and influence? Because Pat McAfee has the power and influence, and he's using it now to campaign, and he's in the ear of Jimmy Pitaro and whoever, is it Burke Magnus that I think is number 2 and in charge? He's using it to bring on his guy, Shams. Adrian Wojnarowski was on the other team. It's laughable, and I've gone a little longer here than I wanted to because I want to bring Steve Kim into this conversation. But this is why it's so important, and this is why that Sports Illustrated top 50 list of sports figures and of influence or most important influencers in the sports world or whatever I think was their list. And in the media section, they had Stephen A. Smith listed. And I nearly fell over looking at this like, are you really that uninformed? Are you that uninformed that you can't see which way the wind is blowing? Pat McAfee has the influence. He won. And it's crystal clear to anybody. And then if you went number 2, and the only thing standing in the way of Shannon Sharpe is his stupidity over his sexuality and the sex tape and all that other stuff. But Shannon Sharpe is the second most influential person right now in sports media. And then if I went to number 3, I'd probably go to Colin Cowherd. They're going to pay Stephen A. Smith because that's what you do with your puppets and your minstrel show. You pay them and you pat them on the top of the head and you pat them on the rear end and say, be a good little boy. Now go out there and shuck it up and shuck and jive for the audience. We're going to huddle up with the white guys and the people in our tribe, and we're going to divvy up the power and influence. And that's, Pat McAfee has it. Colin Cowherd, if you go look at the way he controls FS1 and how, I want to bring Nick Wright on and make him My Little Puppet and the second most influential guy at FS1. And then, Nick, you got this guy, Danny Parkins. We'll put him on this morning show. Colin Cowherd has the power and influence. Building out the volume, partnering up with Shannon Sharp. This is laughable. Stephen A. I know some of you are upset with me. I'm just telling you the facts and how the game is played. Black guys like me, I'm a threat. Because it's like, nah, man, I'm good. Money's nice, but I want to drive the narrative. I want to control the conversation. If I take too much of your money, you're now going to come and tell me what I can and cannot talk about. And the next thing you know, I'll be sitting on television as a sports writer demanding that people take a vaccine, an experimental vaccine. Do you see how the game is played? Stephen A., here's a check, satiate your ego, let you run around and talk about how much money you make. And when we say, boy, get in here and dance, tell these people to take this vaccine, you'll do that. And that's your job and that's your role. You don't have the complexion for the connection that you're looking for. You will have no power and influence. And so I'll just, to make it crystal clear, Stephen A., here's a check. We don't like Kyrie Irving. He tweeted out a movie poster that we don't like. Put that banjo music on, get your ass on screen, and assassinate Kyrie Irving. That's your job. That's why we're paying you this money. And there's a handful of us that are like, nah, man, I'm good. I don't want your money. I'm not going to dance for you. Play that banjo music someplace else. I'm not Fiddler. That's what's going on here. Hat tip to Pat McAfee. Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all your fearless friends.